Hi, everyone. This is Mrs. Denise Parker once again for our 24-25 season kickoff to elevate your game. I am your host and also the Director of Internships and Careers for National College Resources Foundation. We are an organization here to support you through and through from college careers and beyond. And on this show, you'll find special tips and also words of encouragement from people who are doing it, motivating themselves, staying elevated, getting to the next level in their personal lives that will get them to their career passion and goals. And I'm super excited because today's first guest of our 24-25 season is not only a college educated young woman who's also on the rise of doing some big things in whatever industry that she decides to go into, because yes, she's young and she's thinking about all the possibilities. She wants to lend a helping hand in also sharing with young people. And today she's going to share with our HBCU college tour students that I took taken on a wonderful tour this past summer where we went to all things HBCU, where we went through Austin, Texas, down to Louisiana and New Orleans and Jackson, Mississippi. We went to every HBCU in the down below the Delta you could think of. And it was an amazing experience. And I just want to continue on sharing these opportunities with our young people. So to bring it all to full circle, let me introduce my special guest, Miss Beverly Robertson. Come on to the stage.
Hey y'all, nice to meet everyone. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. So sweet of you, Miss Denise. But yeah, I'm excited to speak to everyone and dive in.
I love it. I love it. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? Where you hail from? What school you go to? Give it up.
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Beverly Robertson. I am a rising junior that is attending Howard University. And I'm originally from Boise, Idaho, by way of Liberia. So, my family were West African. So, that's something that is a part of me that I love to share as well. And my major is broadcast journalism. So, I definitely am interested within the sports/slash entertainment field. I'd love to be a reporter on the sidelines. That's like my main goal right now. But yeah, that's pretty much about me. And right now, I'm also working with the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm a rotational intern. So basically, a rotational intern, you're just rotating through different departments offered. So I've worked within the marketing department, corporate partnerships. I've also worked within community relations. And then right now, I'm also in ticketing. So this is my last rotation. So it definitely has been quite the summer and a time for sure.
Well, I love it. I absolutely love it. So how did you, I mean, like Howard from, wait, I don't understand. Like, how do you go from the Midwest to going down to up to the East Coast? Like, what was your passion in going to Howard? What was that about?
Yeah, so it was actually since high school, to be completely honest. Howard was always a well-known like school. It was always something in the back of my head. But Idaho, it's very predominantly white. So usually when it came to like the career success advisors, they wouldn't really know how to help Black students get there. So it was always in the back of my head, but it was nothing to where like I pushed for it. So I actually graduated college 2020 in 2020. So with that came the pandemic and I was debating like is it even worth going to college? Is it even something to do? So I actually decided to settle on community college and just figure out where I wanted to start in my hometown, Idaho. So yeah, I always knew about Howard, but I never pushed for it. And then um there's a few students, Black students from Idaho who attend Howard or have attended and they're actually graduated now. But within the community, because Black people don't make up a full percent, we're actually like 0.7. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's a very small community. So it's one of those things, if you know, if you know. And my best friend at the time was best friends also with one of the girls who attended Howard. Her name was Buki. So Buki, she was also Nigerian as well, and she was like, "Y'all should come out to DC, come visit." And this was when I was at my community college at the time. I think it was like my first or second year. This was back in 2021. So yeah, it was a year within my community college, and we went out to DC, and it was like my first major time outside of Idaho, and I was like, "Yo, like this is a culture shock, but a good culture shock." And I really wanted to continue like being in predominantly Black spaces, and Howard was just happened to be the first HBCU I ever landed foot on or was in that environment in. So I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want to stick through. And through that is how, like, since 2021, I pushed and pushed and pushed until I officially transferred. It definitely was not easy, y'all, but it was something where, like, I left Idaho and was around our people. And then I came back and I just felt like this immense sadness and like wanting, like, yearning to go back. So that's kind of where that came about of like having the idea, having the dream, but not pushing for it until I was in the environment. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
I love it. I love it. See, the East Coast does that to you. You get around the East Coast and other places where there's a lot of thriving
Yeah.
African American and Black people, and you just feel the energy, the synergy, and you just want to be there all the time. I
Right.
love DC. I love the East Coast area when it comes to like that kind of energy. So, what does it feel like to be an HBCU student? Like historical Black colleges and universities are getting so much hype right now. Howard University is like the top of the list of where people want to go to when they think of a HBCU. But what is it for you? Why is this experience changing you, making you feel more connected to yourself as a person of color, as a woman? Like, what is it about it?
Right. I would say, HBCU. I just love my HBCU. I love HBCUs, period. Overall, with growing up in Idaho, it was a very like interesting upbringing. Just growing up in predominantly white spaces, I personally really struggled with my identity. It took me a long time to get to this point, just like as a Black woman, being in those spaces, and even just being like brown, like a Black or brown person, like it can really be hard being in those spaces because you really struggle with who you are and what you bring to the table. So I feel like transferring to Howard and leaving Idaho to transfer to Howard, it was what I imagined and more. It really helped me understand the history of HBCUs. And it's like every time I'm on campus, it could be just going to the cafe or going to class, like I'm always just having a kick in my step. Like I'm just going to class happy, knowing that there's history here, there's like legacy here. So that just having that immense pride and just knowing that I'm proud, like college is already hard enough. I think like having assignments to kind of like that time management and balancing all is already hard enough. Like, why would you not want to be at a school that you're immensely proud of doing that? So that's just kind of how I feel with Howard. Like coming to Howard, I'm just so happy to be here. And like I'm looking around campus, I'm inspired. Everybody's doing what they need to do to get to where they want to be. And that's just such a motivating and inspiring space to be in. So coming with that, it just really changed me and helped me find like my passion and what I want to do. And it just really like ultimately was the best decision I ever made. Like honestly, I can't imagine life without being in the DMV, being in Washington, DC, going to Howard and having a community with me. Community is so important. And it just helps drive me every day on top of like being motivated with my family and all. But I would say the history, and also just being around people that look like you can really help you go far and like have that confidence within yourself to do what you want to do.
Yeah, many of our young people that we work with, they come from all different backgrounds. And these young people that are on, they kind of identify with you a little bit. Am I right, people? Like you can ask your questions while we're talking. So don't feel free to just be yourselves. These young people are taking on this college tour. They're from the schools in a part of California that's more predominantly white. And it's okay to be in these spaces, but sometimes what you feel like you're the only one and experiencing because your people are so spread out as opposed to being in a collective. Like when you see in the South and you see in the East Coast, you see more collective of Black people doing thing, and it ain't for no cookout. We are hanging out, doing educated stuff, going to work, being prosperous, and living the American dream. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful experience. Now that you have transitioned from in the Midwest, from that predominantly white space to the East Coast to this predominantly Black space, do you see yourself going back and trying to cultivate and build more bridges, or what do you see yourself doing?
Mhm. I definitely that's something that's been on my heart, as of recently. I just haven't really navigated that, but I definitely do wanna be able to, like, go back, and whether it's a workshop or whether it's go back to my old high school, like something to help spread word to the community, because I know that would have been real appreciative back in my time in high school. Like I would appreciated someone really like pulling me by the ear and being like, yo, like there's another side. It's not just PWIs, it's not just predominantly white institutions. Like there's a whole HBCU realm as well. And I think that I would really love that, and I would love to give back. I'm always like wanting to put not even like younger people, even people my age, like onto game as well. So I think that's something that I definitely like am considering and would want to do. In terms of like raising a family and like starting life there again, I don't think I would move back unless it's like to go see my family or like an emergency. But I'm just so obsessed with like culture. I think without having like diversity growing up, it really like now that I'm older, diversity is something that I really like value, honestly. So I don't think it'll be anything where I'll go back to like go back and live after graduating, but definitely to like go back and help kids younger than me, other Black boys and girls, like I definitely would 100%.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because that's what happens. You get exposed and you want to come home, but you don't want to be stuck. You want to growth. And I know our young people who are on and young people who are listening, their families want them to experience the journey, the discovery, the acceptance in other places, the growth. And I know your parents are proud of you. They're probably just super excited that you have transitioned from Midwest, East Coast. Now you in the West Coast. What is this? You in the West Coast doing big things, working for my Lakers. Okay. When I say I'm from LA, I am from LA, baby. Lakers,
No.
Dodgers, Kings, Rams, Nipsey, and Kobe. That's what I say. So if you are working for the Lakers, how did you get this wonderful experience?
Yes, so through my HBCU, y'all, so the program that I'm in is called the NBA HBCU Fellowship. So luckily, one of my girls that I met through transferring, she actually lived in Idaho for quite a time, but for college, she went to Howard, and she was like, she knew I was interested in sports. And at the time, it was last fall, I was searching for internships. And I was just applying to so many places, and we would talk and like, Bev, what are you interested in? And I'm like, I want sports or entertainment. So she's like, okay, I got you. If I see anything, that's how it is at like a HBCU, like, or just in general. Like, if somebody knows what you're interested in, definitely they will be like, okay, I remember Beverly, she's interested in this. I'm gonna send it to her. So that's exactly what happened. And she just sent me like a screenshot of like the NBA Foundation posting the job application. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. This looks interesting. And then she sent me a back of like in during winter break, so like December, and applications were due in January. So I don't know what happened, but I ended up procrastinating and didn't get it turned in till night of. So with the application, how it worked out was there was like 3 job listings you could apply for. So I applied for the Lakers, I think I applied for like Miami Heat, but obviously I was on a time crunch because it was due at 11:59 that night, and I think it was on a Sunday, and I started it around like maybe 10:50, like 11 o'clock PM. So I'm just choosing whatever like rings a bell. I'm like, okay, Lakers, okay, Miami Heat. And then I didn't even have time to complete like my third kind of job listing that I wanted to do. So I just submitted that and I was like, okay, like we'll just see. So keep in mind I was also applying to other companies, other job listings as well, and I was just not getting anything. So then fast forward, I want to say a month later, I receive an email and it's like, "Hi, you've been selected for a first round of interviews." So there's a total of 3 interviews, and I made it to the first one. So I was just like, "Is this a scam? Like, is this a real like?" I applied to it so long ago, like a month ago, that I forgot about it. But long story short, I just ended up making it to the first round of interviews. Okay, cool, we did that, and it was like a higher view. So higher view is more of like you set the computer up, it asks you kind of like computer prompt, it tells you to record yourself so you have time to like redo it, and then if you don't like your answer, you do like it, you continue through. So I did that and then made it to the second round, which was like a phone call, and then the third round was like the official interview with like actual Laker employees, um and them asking you hand on questions. And I completed that and made it to the end. So through there, they were like, okay, we'll get back to you. And they got back to me and told me I got the role. It was so crazy, y'all. Like, the whole process was just amazing. But basically, yeah, like I said, the NBA HBCU fellowship, it's offered to HBCU students. You're more than welcome to choose like what you want to do, who you want to work with. There's a bunch of listings between like NBA teams specifically or at the league office in New York. So I chose NBA teams. That's what I chose. Some people chose like the league office, so they're in New York. And yeah, it's a 10-week internship long program. And through there, once you get selected, that's how you get the job. And there were 72 of us, 71 or 72 of us that made it through, and we beat 11,000 applicants. So 11,000 HBCU students applied for this, and we just happened to be the 72, 71, 71, 72 chosen students that made it through. So I'm definitely like grateful to God and happy.
Well, as you should be grateful to the higher creator. I love it. So round of applause to our wonderful intern here. She is just doing it.
Thank
Out of all those thousands of applicants, 72 selected just to be a part of this rotation.
you. Right,
You guys, first of all, internships are everywhere. They're everywhere. A lot of young people that look like us, we don't grasp the opportunities as much as we can because maybe the information is not being serviced to us at appropriate times. We get it late or we don't get it at all or we're not paying attention. Who knows?
right,
There's many different reasons. I don't want to say excuses. There's many different reasons, but there's always a will and a way. So if you really want to do something, if you really are striving to get an internship or be a part of an amazing established, organization like, the NBA or the Lakers or something that has a lot of credentials, then there are opportunities and they're looking for you and they love to look for people of color to actually work in their spaces because yes, DEI is the conversation, diversity, equity, inclusion. It is also the conversation that's getting negative press now. However, it doesn't matter. They still have to hire people from all diverse backgrounds and they're looking for people to apply. And so they used to just go to the normal regular schools and of course they started the Ivy Leagues and they went to the state schools and they went to the nice private schools. And then the conversation started shifting. HBCUs were being left out of the conversation. So because of that, there has been initiatives specifically targeting companies have been specifically wanting to increase their relationship with HBCUs. I was just on a wonderful call with some CEO DEI leaders and other Beverly, you joined that call because they wanted to. And what did you think about that call? It was a bunch of corporate execs talking about how to do better with their HBCU relationships, how to get more in with the HBCUs because they don't have enough interns. Did you
Mhm.
hear that call? It was like really interesting,
Yeah.
right?
No, it was so interesting and definitely like it was more of like we need to foster on relationships. That's what I liked about it. We need to foster on building genuine connections and not just checking off the DEI checklist or oh, we have this race or this ethnicity working with us. It was like, how do we foster this relationship? And I love that.
Yes, and that's what it is. And you guys have value. It's not just who you are, it's where you represent, where you come from, what school you rep, your background, your GPA, all the necessary stuff, all the necessary things that you need to qualify for. You are already qualified just for you being you. So we have some questions in the chat. So I really want to get to our young people being able to ask questions because your voice matters. And Elevate Your Game, we're here to elevate you. And two questions that came up in the chat right away were, are there a lot of internships like that for other types of jobs or maybe other types of industries or other types of fields or career majors that you're interested in? Have you noticed that being at Howard?
Yes, there are definitely a lot of internships, y'all. Like Miss Denise said, like they're kind of just like floating in the air. You just need to like go grab them. And it definitely like can be discouraging sometimes when you apply to something you don't get it. But discouragement, never take no for an answer. I feel like that's another thing Howard HBCUs teach you. They give you the runaround. I don't know if y'all heard of like the HBCU runaround, Howard runaround. You don't take no for an answer. So you gotta go get it. And there's definitely like a lot of internships, not even within like sports or entertainment, even when it comes to like medical internships or tech, like tech, the internships are there as well. But any industry you're interested in, you name it, they're there. A lot of companies, I feel like now, especially with it being 2024, they're open to, having their businesses intern a student and also like offered paid opportunities. So they're definitely out there, guys. It's not just within sports or entertainment. There's a lot out there, a lot of options for sure.
I love it. And then do you have an emphasis with your major? Meaning what's your major again? Let's repeat it.
Broadcast journalism.
So, one of our young people on this call is asking, do you have an emphasis in your major? Like broadcast journalism is what it is. It's very broad. And
Mhm.
what is your niche going to be? Or what do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, so the overall like major for like school communications at Howard is like the major's called media journalism and film. So broadcast journalism is the concentration. And another thing with attending Howard as well is you have to minor in something. So that's like another option with attending Howard. So my minor right now is philosophy. I love philosophy and like deep thinking. So that's one of mine, but the emphasis is more like broadcast journalism. For those that don't know, it's just like more in front of the camera, reading that TV script. There's like news broadcast journalism, there's sports, there's weather broadcast journalism. So it really just depends on like what specific way you want to go. You can like have that creativity to choose where you want to go. So for me, I was really specific with sports and entertainment because I come from like a background of sports, a family of sports. I played sports growing up. So that was just an environment that I wanted to stay in. I know like news is an option as well, but I definitely wanted to keep it sporty and fun and like have fun with my job. So I specifically chose sports.
I love it. I love it. And sports can take you so many different places, as we know what's happening right now. I mean, the world is watching the Olympics, and
Hmm.
I'm all deep in it, from skateboarding to gymnastics to swimming to whatever it is out there. I'm just table tennis. I'm just enjoying it, and it is wonderful to see more people who are women
Yeah.
talking in front of the camera or reporting or giving the news on athletics. And you're seeing it more and more every day, but now it's like almost leveling the playing field for that career pathway, because you used to not see that. I know this generation, your generation, is growing up, but when I was growing up, I didn't see any women reporting on sports. It was Nada. It just happened in the last maybe 10, 15 years, maybe that, maybe 10 years ago. That's
Wow.
when you see more women reporting. And if you did see a woman reporting, you didn't really see her face. She was always in the back. You could hear voice in the background, but you weren't seeing her face. It was a very male dominant. And now we see more women of color and more just diverse people groups. Now we're going to probably see more people who represent all different aspects of diversity. So this is amazing. Another question in the chat: with your degree, what do you see as your ideal career upon graduation? Oh, that's actually a good question. It kind of it leans into the question I had too. Like the journey, like what is that journey? Let's kind of go start there, and then I'm going to ask you a question to kind of follow up with that. So where do you see yourself going with your upon graduation with your career?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I would say I definitely see myself staying within like sports and entertainment. That's something that I feel like with working with the Lakers as a rotational intern, it is has exposed me to so much to where when you're doing a rotational role, it kind of gives you a like an eye for everything. So you can be like, okay, I tried this. I'm not sure if I really like it, but I did this and I really do like it. So let me stick out with this and put that one to the side and continue further. So I definitely think with this opportunity, it's definitely given me the like, yes, sports is really what I want to do. This is an environment I want to stay in. And I think moving forward within my future, um, I definitely want to push more for like broadcast journalism, like broadcasting and like reporting, period. I definitely could see myself doing that. I think within my future as well, I can see myself doing like content creation, making like videos and stuff, like whether it's like a mini like Instagram reel or something as long as like a YouTube video. That's something that I like have always done since I was a kid. Me and my friends would just like make little action figures, like act like they talking to each other and then like make an edit out of it. I think that's something that like just heals me and is like my creative outlet. So I could definitely see myself being like a content creator, like a lifestyle content creator, helping put other people on game and just like giving them being inspirational. I could see myself doing that. But that's a really great question. Nothing specifically, but I definitely know as of now that's kind of the two like industries and things that I'm seeing I could see myself pushing for and really like pursuing full
What
time.
I hear from you is not just you working for others like companies and stuff and sharing your creativity with them, but I also hear entrepreneurial spirit, like you want to start your own, way, your own lane. You want to create your own vision for what that means in your broadcast journalism career.
Mhm.
So that being said, what are you going to bring to the table within your career? Like what are the skills that when they say they're hiring you, because they select you out of thousands of people to work for the NBA, and it's the internship is a job, babe. It is a job. You are going, and she had to uproot herself and fly and live. She's not doing this is not virtual. This is you are in LA, living the LA life,
Yeah.
investing in LA, had to figure all that out.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
just like you just come over here and you got a job. You had to actually make sure you had a place to live and all
Mhm.
that other stuff. And not everybody has those means to do that, but you made sure that you have that good support system around you. People are cheering you on, and it's good to keep those relationships so you can have those support systems. But what are you bringing to the table, within your career? And as far as that, your skills, when they're saying they're hiring Beverly Robertson, who are they hiring? What kind of person are you?
Mhm. I definitely would say the first thing for sure is my engagement within the community. That's something that was really like heavy for me. And not even just with this internship, even with that Howard. So, like, Howard is very community based university. They want to see, okay, you may have a 4.0, you may have the grades, but what are you doing in your community? And that's something that when I was looking into Howard, I really like took note of that and put that into action. So, I think that's something I bring to the tables when it comes to like advocating for Black and Brown students, African students, students who have grown up in like predominantly white institutions that want to have a seat at like the table, like definitely advocating for us is something that I really pride myself on, and giving back to the community. So I'd say that's something that I can really like speak towards and shine a light on within myself. I'd say another thing too is like communication. I am a communications major, so communication is just something where like I'm 22. I just turned 22 years old, and something that's always like I've heard is like, wow, you're very like communicative, you're very quick for your age. And I feel like that's something that I've always prided myself on, is communication, letting people know how I feel. Even when you go into the real world, like your employers, your managers want to know how you feel, and that effective communication, that time management all matters in the end. And it really starts within something as small as like going to class on time or like attending school on time. Like those things really make up for making yourself different from like other applicants. And I think also just being genuine, being yourself, y'all, like that really matters. I think with being Gen Z, you see what other people are doing, you kind of want to hop on the wave. But I think what really makes me different is that I'm myself, I'm kind. I know like my family's background, I know my history, and I know like it's not easy to be here. So with that brings a lot of like gratitude and kindness. And I try to carry that with me everywhere I go. So I would really say like those three things, like community, gratitude, being myself, and communication is really what helped make me different. And yeah.
I love it. So you have to find your own who you are.
Yes.
Beverly, you can't, I'm not that. I mean, I have some of those aspects, but those are yours. Those are your attributes. Each
Hmm.
one of our young people on this call and the ones who are listening, and even us adults, we have to find that version of our attributes. So when we're talking to people, you want people to say, wow, you know, I hate when people who don't expect us people of color, to be smart and intelligent and be thought leaders to come out, we may look like our hair may be a little dready, or, our pants may be a little loose, and, our outfits may be a little tight, or whatever the case may be. And then we open our mouth and we have intelligence. It's like, you can't judge a book by its cover. So all those things being said, when you applied your transition, my final question for this, people can ask more, but my final question is that transition between high school is different from that transition into college. And that transition to college, right now you're a rising junior, and now
Yeah.
you're looking at that transition outside of being a junior into being an adult, fully on full press adult teen, living my life outside of college. What has that transition been like for you?
Hmm.
What can you tell to these young people who are high school students going into their final, some of them going into their final years, some of them going to their junior years? Like, what is this high school versus college versus real life going to be like?
Hmm. I would definitely say that high school transition to college, y'all, is definitely real. It definitely took me by wind because I'm also a first generation student. And with kind of having no guidance into what to expect when it came to like going to college, I wasn't ready for it. So I definitely want to like emphasize, like I definitely struggled and still struggle to this day. Like it's not like I don't struggle, but just that adjustment, I wasn't prepared for it. And it took trial errors to get to prepare for it now. But I definitely think high school you can take, I know there's like AP classes. There's also I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but there was like, oh, I'm sorry. There's also like extracurricular classes that you can take to help you prepare for college, like AP. I wish I could remember the second one, but I think also getting involved within your community, kind of getting those people skills, those leadership skills early, like time management, communication can really help you. Like once you do transition, it's a easier kind of load. But it's definitely not a joke. It's definitely real, y'all. And I would say, yeah, those three things is like getting involved in your community, getting the skills early can really help you. But it's not anything to fear. That just comes with life. You know, once you do take on college, it really teaches you a lot of life skills that you'll have with you forever. And then one thing I'm learning right now as well is even with this internship, like the real world of like corporate America, like that
Mhm.
9 to 5, excuse me, that 9 to 5 kind of adjustment of, okay, it's not like you're having homework assignments. It's more of like projects for the actual corporation that you got to, take home and do. And then also just like building a routine around going to work at 9 in the morning, coming back home at 5. You may have more work to do once you get home, and like building that kind of routine. It's all important, but I wouldn't say you will never fully be, like, ready for it, but it's those little small adjustments starting from high school and putting yourself out there and, like, meeting people that are in these positions and getting advice will really help you kind of, like, take a mental note, and also putting those into practice really, really helps that I wish, like, I would have done before, but, we're here now, so
I
yeah.
love it. You have dropped the mic. I love it. This was a good session to talk to our young people and to our audience out there in the virtual land and on our NCRF TV network. Um, we are here to really support you guys. And Beverly, you really showed us how to access your career while you're in college. I mean, you are very poised, you know what you want. Um, did you always know what you wanted?
Oh,
Or
no. No, that's actually funny you say that. It took me a while, I'm not gonna lie. Cause I started off with community college and a quick 2 year. From there, I was really searching. So I actually would like sit with myself after class. I'll come sit with myself and like have a notebook out and be like, okay, what's something, because I didn't know what my major was when I attended community college. I was just really getting my general classes done, and trying to go from there to seeing if college was something I wanted to continue further. So I'll sit with myself and kind of figure out, okay, what do I like to do? I like to make videos. I like to be on camera. Oh, well, there was a time where I actually thought, okay, let me do medical because my family were African. So, the big kind of jobs that come with that is being in the medical field or being a lawyer, those kind of high profile jobs. I was like, okay, maybe I want to do like dentistry. But then I was like, I don't want to do dentistry. I don't want to clean people's teeth for the rest of my life. I want to do something more life fulfilling for me. No
Mhm.
offense to the people that do that. So it really took a lot of soul searching. And then once I figured out that broadcast journalism was an option, that's when I really like full force and pursued that. But it honestly was not until I want to say we're in 2024. So I want to say like last year, y'all. Like it took me the full 2 years of my like college like transition to really figure that out for myself.
I like that. I like that. You see? You're still figuring it out. I figure it out every day. I mean, I know exactly what I want, but then I have my questions in my own personal life through my journey on my personal life, my personal career, my future, whatever that is. And you
Yeah.
should be questioning it. You should always be answering. Because once you get what you really want, you're going to want more. You're gonna want more. You're gonna be like, "Oh, this is not what I expected," or "This is awesome, but I know I can take more. I know
Right.
I want more. I want that different car. I want that different house. I want that different whatever, whatever that may be." And now that you are about to go into your final 2 years of school, what can you say to these young people on, on this call? What kind of last words of impression that you want to leave with them? What's the last word of impression?
Yes, I would say the first thing for sure is always believe in yourself, guys. I know it sounds so cliche, but I think like when I told people back home that I wanted to leave Idaho, transfer to Howard University, and leave kind of like my fully funded in-state tuition lifestyle and take on that risk of moving across the country to attend an HBCU that's a private, expensive school. Like, what are you doing? But I just knew what I wanted deep down. I knew that no matter who I went to for advice, I truly knew what I wanted, and I just stuck with that. And it's something that I will forever like be grateful for when it comes to myself is like I knew what I wanted and I stuck that out because I believed in myself. I think, if nobody believes in yourself, even like I'll talk to my cousins sometimes. My cousins will be like, girl, like just stay, get your fully funded school. But I knew that that was something I wanted to do and sacrifice. And coming along with sacrifice, like don't be afraid to like go after the big goals. Like don't be like, oh, that's too wild. That's too big of a dream. That's too big of a goal. Like when you're starting to feel fear of something being too big and crazy, that's when you really should go for it because that's when you know like it's really worthwhile if that makes sense. And I just think that having this within the back of my head is something that I wish I knew earlier. Like nothing's too crazy. No, a dream is never too crazy. A goal is never too crazy when it's something you truly want to do because you know you will have the grit and motivation to get it done because that's what you want to do. So I just want to emphasize believing in yourself and not being afraid to go after the big things and also coming with that. Don't be afraid to fail, y'all. There's so many times where I failed and definitely like had a season of L's, y'all. Like, trust me, I had my seasons, I had my time. Shoot, still now, I have my seasons of failure, but I know that, you just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. I think perseverance is something that makes someone an outstanding candidate. I would also say to add on to the earlier question, perseverance is what really helps within this
Mhm.
life that we're living, y'all. Like life will throw so many like bullets at you, but you persevering and keep going and pushing, you're automatically gonna like hit a result at some point. There's no way you're gonna keep pushing, pushing, pushing towards a goal or towards the outcome and never see the final result. Like you always will. So I just wanna like let y'all know like failure is part of growth. You'll never reach the point you want without failing or reaching some kind of like drawback, but it's really about the comeback that matters. And I just really want everyone to know like those three things for sure.
I, that's all I gotta say. Bow down, bow down. It's
Oh.
Beyonce. Bow down. Thank you. Did you guys like this? This was amazing. She was amazing.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. They saying yes. Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Nuggets, nuggets, nuggets. Take these. You guys can, this is gold, baby. You guys can take this and take it to the bank and get more than what you got, came in there with. More. You're like, you thought it was this? No, it's worth this. This is amazing. You guys got to follow us on our socials at NCR Foundation, at NCR Foundation for all our socials. For you can follow us on our expos, the Black College Expo, Latino College Expo, NCRF TV on YouTube. We are doing it. We are here to support you. Nigerian love. That's right.
Yes.
Yes, big up to the motherland and the continent and the country.
Yes.
We are bigging it up. Thank you so much for just sharing. I just, I'm just so happy that you're one of mine now. Ooh, she's one of mine. I can call her when I go to the East Coast, like, what's up?
Oh my
Let's
gosh,
hang out.
no. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Miss Denise. It's just a blessing to have met you and been able to just shed light. Y'all can definitely reach me on LinkedIn, especially. I also be on there. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for this opportunity. This was like my first interview kind of to share my testimony, my story. So I definitely like really appreciate you just providing that platform for me. And yeah, y'all definitely feel welcome to reach out to me. Please don't be too shy. I'm always here to help. And I just appreciate y'all's patience and consideration to have me here.
Oh my God, you're amazing. And guess what? We're going to have her back because I'm going to be leading some webinars and I'm asking special guests to be my co-lead on some of these webinars on just special skills building, you name it. So if you want to hear from more people like Miss Robertson over here, who's phenomenal and intelligent and ready and just willing to help and young, you one of your peers out here doing it, and she really doing it with the struggles and the challenges and the love and the respect and just the faith and all that. That's what it's about. You guys need to hear more representation like that. That's what we're here for. So I want to thank you again for joining us for Elevate Your Game. Until then, until I see you again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, I'm Denise Parker, National College Resources Foundation Director of Internships and Careers. I'm super excited because we've been helping our students to get opportunities with our corporate partners and our sponsors to make sure they get internships and early career pipeline pathways into the jobs of their dreams. It's awesome because we're not just helping them with resume building and interview tips, but we're also helping them to figure out how their major is mixed into what they want to do in their passions for life. And it's finding a purpose. It's not just a job to build up skills, it's also to find their career journey. Not everybody knows what they want to do when they get older. Not everybody can figure it out along the way. It might take 20 years, it might take 15 years, it might take 5 years. But guess what? Our organization, NCRF, is here to help them, follow them through to find that support that they need from the resources that we have from our wonderful corporate partners. And I'm here to advocate for you as an internship and careers director.